What's up, Amazon sellers? The USA is really experiencing an inflationary period, but my Amazon business made $124,000 in sales in the last 30 days. And this video, I'm going to share with you how I did it and what are my next plans for August in my Amazon USA business. Stay tuned. Right, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson, and I've been selling on Amazon now doing online arbitrage for the last 5 years. Now in the UK, I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller, check this out. And in the USA, I'm a 6-figure Amazon seller, check this out. And hopefully in the near future, we're going to expand into another marketplace. And if you're interested in learning how I've done it, what I'm doing, and obviously what I'm learning on my journey, hit that subscribe button down below. First things first, I'm going to do a recap of my plans for July. Number two, I'm going to talk about my plans for August 2022. And then finally, I'll give you some personal advice about my thoughts on maybe the US economy, what's going on, and obviously what else is going on in my business. So let's get started. So first things first, let's give you a recap of my plans for July. Now look, in July, my goal was to make 110,000 in sales. Now, pretty much in June, I ended with 105,000 in sales, #excited. And then with this, we plan to increase the target to 110 from achieving 105 in the month prior. Now, as you can see, the increase was a little bit low because USA marketplace was slowing down. Should we say, we're looking at inflation and we said, look, we've done 105, let's do 110 because there's other things going on. Maybe we shouldn't go too high. And by the way, at the end of the day, we don't want to keep setting huge goals. Sometimes slow down, sometimes go up. Now, to give you an update, I'm super excited to say that our sales for July, remember, we had a target 110. As of making this video right now, we're still technically in July, we're doing $124,000 in sales. Now, this has given us a projected figure for the end of the month that we're hoping, fingers crossed, 140,000 in sales. Now, as you can see, despite that, should we say, the USA is experiencing economic challenges, inflation, my team, they have been absolutely smashing it in the USA and performing better, in regards to like buying stock and reselling on Amazon. Now, there are a couple of categories that we've gone into based on the previous learnings we've done with lots of other videos that we've done with lots of other sellers. And I won't go into specifically what they are because I don't want to give the game away of what's working in our business. But what I will say is we are certainly looking at different categories, different models, or say different things to sell. And as a result, within my Amazon business July, we have really seen an increase in our sales, but also profitability as well. Now, hopefully with this in mind, my team and I, what should I say, really my team, because they're the ones who do the great work, they're going to be replicating this strategy going forward into August and obviously smashing it there. Now, the second thing I'll kind of talk about here is sourcing more high value items. Sourcing high value items has increased our revenue, fantastic, but also as well, it helps improve our profitability because the fees are a lot less. And that's something that's really helped. Now, one impact of this is that if we get refunds, obviously they are quite high. So there is a downside to it as well. But we are going to continue planning, should we say, these items, selling these items in July and obviously going on to August as well. Now, to give you an update, a huge part of our sales in the USA business came from these high value items. And it is a real gem to find high value items in online arbitrage because of that huge ROI. But also as well, they sell pretty fast and they generally have less competition. But it is a bigger risk, and that is something that I will consider. So what I would just say is do consider not just maybe like low value, low dollar items. You can certainly go higher, and obviously they're going to support you in your business. Now, a quick top tip for you. A lot of people in the past have been talking about, should we say, selling like shoes, for example. One thing that we've seen in this is that while on the face of it, they are higher value items, they also, should we say, look like they have good profit margins. We've also seen a very high number of returns. And actually, because a lot of people are getting into this space, it's not actually been as profitable as maybe it once was. So I would just put a word of warning about that. Some people are still doing well, but it isn't as good a gem as it was before because the market has now become more saturated. And I expect it to go more that way, but also as well, the return rate is significantly higher than anything else that we're selling. So be careful of that and that word of warning. Okay, so today I'm talking about my plans for July, or a recap of them, and then also my plans for August. And I'd love to know what you're doing. Let me know in the comments down below what your plans for August are. And hey, does it include something that's maybe getting ready for Q4? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's talk about my second chapter, which is really my plans for August in 2022, and go through that. So first things first, revenue goals. Now look, I think we're doing like 140 predicted this month. And again, like we could go bigger, but at the end of the day, there's things to manage. We've got a lot of internal things happening. So in August, revenue target, 135,000. When 2022 started, my goal for Amazon was to really, this year was to make 1 million US in sales in just 12 months. And I think that's a big goal. By the way, like we were only 6 months into the business by that point. So we already said like between month 6 and month 18, we want to hit 1 million. Absolutely crazy from the learning. And I think that's really, good. Now, with this in mind, we broke down, the goals into monthly targets. And really, we didn't do that high at the beginning of the year because we just started month 7. January was month 7 in the business. But obviously, we needed to increase the revenue in the back end, the last half of the year. So as a result, this month, we're planning to do 135,000 in sales. So really happy with that. And I think for us is while we're seeing success in the current month, we should be hitting more than that. We're still sticking to the plan to get to that 1 million, maybe not trying to overachieve. And if we do overachieve, fantastic. If not, it doesn't matter. Now, aiming for this target is really not easy. And as you can see, also, I've needed to increase different aspects of my business that I've talked about. This is such as my team performance, and, I needed to work with them, and also like cash. So hopefully, if the USA market does slow down, we're not going to be affected because we've made adjustments internally with my team and how we operate and how we're sourcing to really support growth. I do think that the effect in the US will have an impact, but hopefully we've mitigated that with some great strategies and how we're developing our business. Now, with this in mind, we will replicate the strategy that we had in July, which is selling higher value items to make sure that, we're continuing to be effective in sales into August. So hopefully, watch this space. Not only we're going to do more revenue, but more profits. Now, the second thing we're going to be doing is what should we say is called fighting penny pinchers or price tanking. Now, there are lots of sellers tanking prices or talking about that, who are experiencing price tanking, some of their products sold, basically because, people come in and reprice us and they compete and they go down, 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 down. And that is also having an impact, considerable impact on gross profits in the margins we're selling at. You have to fight that price increase or price tanking until that competition get off the listing. Now, and then obviously you can put your price back up again. So it's not easy. Now, with that in mind, what we're looking to do is we're looking to hire a full-time pricing analyst who is going to look over our pricing strategies, look over the sales pretty much in real time, looking at the penny pinchers, looking at what's going on and thinking about how we can be more strategic in developing along the way. What I will say is if you want to know more about price tanking strategies, what I'll do is I'll drop a video up here about what is price tanking. Check that out. I think that'll help. But for us, really, we think we've got to the size now whereby we can actually afford to employ someone full time and they will have quite a big impact. The reason why I say that is because as business owners, how many times have we gone through our sales, tweaked our repricer, said, my God, if only I was doing this more time, I could make so much more money. Well, actually, that's what I'm thinking. And we're going to hire someone to build strategies and to support us in really driving that margin up. Watch this space. Now, the third thing we're going to be doing in August is preparing for Q4. Now, Q4 is the last quarter of the year, and many people are going to be buying gifts for the holiday season, and as a result, sales go through the roof. Now, we call this the gold rush since buyers in Amazon are also increasing in this period. Why? And I've heard this many, many times, especially in the private label world, you can make more money in Q4 than in Q1, 2, and 3 combined, which is absolutely crazy, but it just shows you how big an opportunity Q4 is. Now, with this in mind, my team is preparing as early as now to review all of our products from last year, thinking about those. We're not buying them yet, we're just getting ready, but also as well, we're making a short list of those products and thinking about when they come on the right price, we might buy them, probably more in starting to October, November, as opposed to now, because we can still flip products pretty quick. Now, why? Because we're also looking at those higher profit items that are going to really help us out, and also as well, we're looking at the team and building the team up ready to get that in a position ready for Q4. So the team, VAs, hiring them, and also as well money, along with great deals to be able to invest. They're really the three things you should be looking at and getting prepared now ready for Q4. Now, the one thing which I will say is I'm talking about my plans for my USA business. Now, we're looking to do $1 million in sales between month 6 and month 18, which is absolutely insane, like crazy. And I'm super pleased with my business and where they're going. And by the way, I run this business in like 2 hours a week. And that's 2 hours of this business and my UK business as well. I have a team in place. Now, the one thing which I will say is how have I been able to do that? That's because I have the knowledge, because I've learned so much, and we just build great systems and processes which work. Now, the one thing which I will say is you too can replicate this. And where does it all really start? It really starts about getting the right foundation. It gets started about actually building the right business. Now, at a very fundamental level, there's a lot of problems starting a new business, and it's about having the right corporation structure. It's about understanding how to build your business in the right way that minimizes, decreases taxes, but also as well increases the ability to buy orders, you're not getting cancelled orders. Now, the one thing which I'll say is that whole journey I went through, creating my Amazon USA business, setting up the LLC, doing it remotely. I didn't have to go to the US to do it. Also setting up the bank accounts, prep centers, figuring out what we needed to do to get all the relevant legal requirements, the accountants, but also making sure that we're getting cancelled orders through. There's a lot of little tips and tricks that we have that we've learned along the journey, and so much more. Now, we documented that entire journey and we put it all in together into a really simple Getting Started on USA course. If you want to replicate the foundations that I built to set you up for success, to maximize your profitability through low taxes, to ensure that you're managing the right kind of incorporation, prep centers, accountants, and obviously getting cash back and not getting cancelled orders, then what I will say is do check out the link down below, Getting Started in USA. And that's the course that I created, which just talks you through everything that you need to know. And obviously you can copy exactly what I've done. And hopefully once you've built that foundation, you can then grow to the 1 million mark as well, obviously using the same strategies that I've done. But do check it out. Trust me, I think you'll love it. Or you can go to the FastTrackFBA website and go to the core resources and then courses. You can check out all our other courses there. Trust me, I think it'll be game changing, and it will help you risk diversify into another Amazon selling account, maybe if you're in the UK right now or another marketplace. It's really helped me, and hopefully it can help you too. Now, this leads me nicely onto my third chapter, and that's some personal advice. And really, I'll talk here a bit about maybe should you worry about the US economy. Now, there are a lot of Amazon USA sellers who are discussing about inflation, and some have said that they are affected, get it right, Tom, and some of them are not. But to answer this question from my side is, if inflation, I think, look, one thing to understand is that inflation has always been there. It's not just something that's just turned up. Inflation happens throughout the whole of time. If you go back, it's happening all the time. I even had the person on the question in my YouTube live the other day, I do that on Mondays, is to say, given inflation right now, is Keeper irrelevant because the prices aren't adjusted for inflation previously? And I was like, no, they've always had, that is the price that it was then, and inflation's always been something that we've had. Now, the thing for you is, what I will say is, maybe you had a strategy last year. Maybe that strategy was, I don't know, buying beauty products and reselling them from a certain supplier. Now, the one thing is that strategy worked last year, but the marketplace, Amazon, is always changing. So maybe that strategy is no longer working today. And maybe Amazon's changing because of inflation, but also because of maybe more competition, because of other things. What we as business owners need to know or need to understand is that our business always has to evolve. It isn't like one strategy is going to work and then it's going to change. There is money to be made on Amazon today. I know people absolutely smashing it. I mean, like absolutely smashing it. They make me look like a tiny seller. And these guys are just doing crazy numbers. But why? Because they found and understood a new strategy within the Amazon business marketplace. And maybe it wasn't a strategy that worked a year ago, and maybe it's a strategy that won't work in a year's time, but right now it is working. So us as business owners, yes, there is inflation. There always has been. Yes, there is competition. There always has been. Yes, there are more sellers. Yes, there always has been. It's increasing every year. But is there still an opportunity to make money on the Amazon marketplace? Yeah, 100%. And also, in addition to that, Amazon's top line revenue, i.e. how much money Amazon as a whole are making, is growing up, is still, absolutely huge. So we're looking to get like 0.00001% of that. And then that's still $1 million business for us. So I think for us as business owners, we can sit here and worry and talk about all these things, or you know what, we can look for just within our businesses to find out what is working and to do more of that and to stop doing what isn't. Because maybe that new, or maybe by accident we bought some products which actually did really well. Can we repeat that success? Because the underlying marketplace is always changing, and the net result is our business has to change. If we don't adapt, our business will die. And as they say, change is the only certainty in life. And I think we need to take that on board as Amazon sellers. Now, what I will say is, selling on Amazon is not easy. And with that in mind, in the USA marketplace, you've got to really develop a good sourcing strategy, in the USA and for all marketplaces. Why? Because our business is always changing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a video around here of a playlist of different sourcing methods and strategies that we use in my business and I've developed that can really help you out. So check out that playlist of my sourcing strategies. Now, what I will say is hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, give me a big thumbs up. And hey, if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button down below. For myself, Thomas Parkinson, and FastTrackFBA, thank you very much.